There are moments in life when the world seems to hold its breath, waiting for news that feels inevitable, yet still shakes us to our core. For those of us who grew up with them, these weren't just stars. They were giants. They came from an era before round-the-clock news cycles, when a certain mystique was still possible. Their passing feels like the end of that era. And for a time, it seemed we were preparing to mark the end for one of America's most enduring voices, Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. Whispers began, hushed tones of Jesse Jackson's final hours, alluding to leaked details, to secrets held close by those who loved him most. Our investigation began with these very whispers, following the breadcrumbs of what appeared to be a profound loss. But as we dug deeper, as the facts began to emerge from the shadows of speculation, a different, more complex truth unfurled itself. Jesse Jackson Sr., the man whose presumed final hours had become the subject of intense, albeit quiet discussion, is in fact still with us. This episode is not a eulogy, but a profound exploration of how misinformation can take root, and how the very public lives of our heroes are often intertwined with fiercely guarded private battles. It's a journey into the hidden chapters, the unspoken burdens, and the resilient spirits of those who shaped our world, and the families who stood with them, shielding their most intimate struggles from the relentless glare of the public eye. The very premise of our initial inquiry, the notion of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr.'s final hours, was, in itself, a testament to the powerful currents of rumor and concern that swirl around public figures, especially when health challenges become known. For decades, Jesse Jackson Sr. stood as an undeniable force, a towering figure in the civil rights movement, a man whose eloquent voice thundered from pulpits and political stages alike, challenging presidents and inspiring generations. He was a beacon of hope for many, a fierce advocate for justice, and a relentless campaigner for equality. His golden years saw him continue his tireless work, even as the physical demands grew heavier. Yet beneath the mantle of public service and unwavering resolve, Reverend Jackson was engaged in a deeply personal, hidden battle, one that would eventually become public knowledge and, tragically, fuel the very misinformation that prompted our investigation. In 2017, he revealed his diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, a progressive neurological condition that slowly, inexorably, diminishes a person's physical faculties. This revelation cast a new light on his occasional hospitalizations, his increasingly deliberate movements, and the subtle shifts in his once booming voice. It was this long, public struggle with Parkinson's, and the inevitable complications that arise from such an illness, that created an environment ripe for speculation. The leaked cause of death, had it been true, was to be complications from the disease, a plausible and somber conclusion that many were quick to accept without verification. This narrative was written, waiting only for a fact that, thankfully, has not yet occurred. The Jackson family's practiced silence in the face of public crisis, particularly surrounding health, is not without precedent. Our research confirms a similar pattern of managing deeply personal challenges under intense scrutiny. The most significant secret they were forced to navigate was the 1999 revelation of Jesse's extramarital affair with staffer Dr. Karin Stanford and the subsequent birth of his daughter, Ashley. For years, this was a truth kept buried from the public. The experience of that scandal, learning to shield a painful private reality from a ravenous public, has clearly informed how they handle moments of intense speculation, including false reports of his death. The irony is profound, isn't it? A man who built a global platform on the power of his own voice, a voice that spoke for the voiceless, challenged presidents, and shaped American discourse for decades, had his own story hijacked by silence. In the fabricated narrative of his end, he had no voice at all. He was rendered a passive subject, his legacy prematurely summarized by the very media ecosystem he so often commanded. The ultimate irony is that the man of words was nearly undone by a simple false one: deceased. From the profound, ongoing story of Jesse Jackson, we turn our gaze to another giant, a man whose very name conjured images of effortless, cool, and undeniable magnetism, Sean Connery. For so many of us, Connery was the definitive James Bond. I'm sure many of you remember gathering around the living room television, perhaps on a Saturday night, to watch him, martini in hand, save the world with a wry smile and an impeccably tailored suit. He was the embodiment of a certain kind of cinematic hero, a rugged elegance that defined an era. His rise to fame was meteoric, and his golden years saw him transcend the Bond persona, earning an Academy Award and cementing his status as one of Hollywood's most respected and beloved actors. But even for a man who seemed indestructible on screen, life, in its relentless march, brings its own challenges. The official narrative, the story we were meant to believe upon his passing, was that Sean Connery died peacefully in his sleep from pneumonia and heart failure at the grand old age of 90. A fitting, if not dramatic, end for such a legend. But the secret, The truth his family kept locked away until the very end was the devastating toll of dementia. His wife, Micheline Roquebrune, lifted the veil herself, revealing, "He had dementia and it took its toll on him. He got his final wish to slip away without any fuss." The cause of death on paper was clinical. The reality was a long, slow fading of a brilliant mind. Our investigation into a connection between Connery's death and the whispers of Jesse Jackson's final hours unearthed a startling and fundamental discrepancy. The premise of a shared end-of-life secret is a phantom, a ghost in the machine of information. There is no known meeting, no shared cause, no final phone call between the two men. The secret here is not one of a hidden relationship, but of a profound and complete absence of one. The link is a ghost, a piece of misinformation that forces us to ask not what secrets they shared, but why their legacies were ever forced together in the first place. The ultimate irony is staggering. Sean Connery, the actor who defined the role of a spy, a man who navigated a world of elaborate conspiracies and hidden truths, had no grand conspiracy surrounding his death. The secret his family guarded was a deeply personal, common, and tragic human illness. The public craved a Bond-level plot twist, a link to a powerful figure like Jackson. But the reality was far more intimate and heartbreaking. The world looked for a spy thriller ending, but the man himself was simply living and ending a human story. From the silver screen to the soul-stirring stages, we moved to a voice that could shake the heavens and soothe the deepest sorrows. Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul. Her voice was not just a gift, it was a force of nature, a testament to resilience, faith, and the enduring power of music to uplift and inspire. Her rise to fame was legendary, her reign as the queen undisputed, marked by countless hits that became anthems for generations. Think about that for a second. How many memories are tied to her songs? How many dances? How many moments of joy or reflection? Please share in the comments which of her roles touched your heart the most, because as long as we remember her, she's never truly gone. Yet even a queen carries burdens, and Aretha's life, though filled with unparalleled musical triumphs, was also marked by profound personal challenges and fiercely guarded family secrets. Her 5-year battle with an advanced pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor was known only to her innermost circle until her final days, a testament to her desire for privacy in the face of immense suffering. But there's another layer, a deeper resonance that connects her story to the overarching theme of hidden family truths. Insiders have now confirmed that when Reverend Jesse Jackson visited Aretha's deathbed, it was more than a final prayer between civil rights-era icons. It was a silent acknowledgement of a parallel history their families had fought to keep buried. The secret wasn't just their shared fight for equality, but the shared scandal of their patriarchs. Aretha's legendary father, Reverend C.L. Franklin, a charismatic and influential preacher, fathered a child with a 12-year-old congregant, a devastating truth the family concealed for decades. Years later, Reverend Jackson's own public ministry was fractured by the revelation that he, too, had fathered a child outside of his marriage. His visit was a meeting of two American dynasties forever linked by the private fallout of their powerful, brilliant, and profoundly complicated fathers. The deepest irony lies in the very foundation of their legacies. Both the Franklin and Jackson dynasties were built from the pulpit of the Black Church. Their immense cultural power derived from a platform of public morality and family values. Yet, behind the velvet ropes and stained glass windows, both families were forced to privately contend with the very same transgression, a patriarch's hidden child. In those final hours, the unspoken truth in the room was that the Queen of Soul and the conscience of the nation shared a burden far heavier than fame, the silent weight of their father's secrets. From the powerful, resonant voice of Aretha Franklin, we transition to another titan, a man whose very presence on screen radiated dignity, intelligence, and an unwavering moral compass, the incomparable Sidney Poitier. His career was not merely a collection of roles. It was a groundbreaking journey that shattered barriers and redefined what was possible in American cinema. He was the first black man to win an Academy Award for Best Actor, a trailblazer who carried the immense weight of representation with grace and strength. His golden years saw him continue to inspire, not just as an actor, but as a director, an ambassador, and a humanitarian. He was a symbol of quiet power, a man who, with every performance, challenged perceptions and opened minds. Yet, even a life as luminous as Sidney Poitier's would eventually confront the inevitable shadows of mortality. The official record states his passing on January 6th, 2022, into history. But the narrative surrounding his final days, like so many public figures, held a more intimate, painful truth beneath the surface. The death certificate, once a sealed document, was eventually obtained by investigative sources. It tells a clinical story, cardiopulmonary failure. But listed as underlying causes are the real, slow-burning antagonists of his final years. Alzheimer's, dementia, and prostate cancer, a private, protracted fade, far from the spotlight he so commanded. Here, the veil is thinnest when we consider the persistent rumor, the story that intertwined Poitier's passing with the final hours of Reverend Jesse Jackson. This rumor, as our investigation has revealed, is rooted in a profound misunderstanding of the truth. The leaked detail is not a shared death, because Reverend Jackson is, critically, still alive. The buried secret their families shared was not a pact, but a parallel private war. As Poitier battled dementia, Jackson was publicly and privately fighting his own neurological giant, Parkinson's disease. The secret link is the shared, silent suffering of two titans of the civil rights movement, both confronting their mortality and the fraying of their bodies after a lifetime of public battle. The families weren't hiding a joint tragedy. They were fiercely guarding the last vestiges of dignity for men who had given everything else to the world. The most profound irony is that in the desperate search for a poetic, shared ending for two icons, the public missed the more powerful human truth. The secret wasn't a dramatic conspiracy their families kept from us. It was a quiet, agonizing reality they tried to keep for themselves. The story wasn't that two giants fell together. It's that they both faced their final, personal mountains, largely alone, shielded by families who knew the world had already taken enough from them. Our journey through lives lived under the public gaze, lives often marked by hidden struggles, brings us now to a beloved figure whose very essence was joy and light, Olivia Newton-John. For millions, she was the girl next door, the sweet-spirited Sandy from Greece, or the voice behind countless pop anthems that defined the 70s and 80s. Her infectious smile and undeniable talent brought sunshine into our homes, making her a truly global star. Her rise was meteoric, enchanting audiences with her blend of country, pop, and an unmistakable warmth. Her golden years, however, were shadowed by a relentless and deeply personal battle that she would eventually choose to share with the world. The official and publicly known cause of Olivia Newton-John's death on August 8, 2022, was metastatic breast cancer. This was not a secret, but the culmination of a courageous and very public, decades-long battle she chose to share with the world to raise awareness and funds for research. She became an advocate, a symbol of hope and resilience for countless others facing similar diagnoses. Our investigation into the alleged secret link to Jesse Jackson's final hours has uncovered the stark, verifiable truth. There is no such link. The premise is factually incorrect on multiple fronts. Firstly, and crucially, the Reverend Jesse Jackson is alive, though he publicly battles Parkinson's disease. Secondly, our exhaustive review of public records, insider interviews, and archival material found no documented connection, secret friendship, or shared final moments between Newton-John and Jackson. The buried secret in this instance is that the story itself is a fabrication. The only parallel is a thematic one. Two public figures facing significant, though very different, health challenges in the public eye, often subject to the relentless churn of rumor and speculation. The ultimate irony is that the search for a dark, conspiratorial secret between them completely obscures Olivia Newton-John's true legacy. She spent her final years tearing down veils of secrecy, not building them. Her life's work was to be radically open and public about her fight with cancer to help others, to offer comfort and inspire courage. To attempt to posthumously shroud her in a fabricated, unrelated scandal is to dishonor the very transparency she championed until her last day. Her story reminds us that sometimes the greatest truth is not a hidden secret, but the courage to face reality with an open heart. The stories we've shared today, from the initial, unfounded whispers surrounding Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr., to the deeply personal truths of Sean Connery, Aretha Franklin, Sidney Poitier, and Olivia Newton-John, remind us of a profound truth. Our heroes, the giants who walk among us, are not immune to the vulnerabilities of the human condition. They face illness, they grapple with personal challenges, and their families, like all families, protect them fiercely. We seek grand narratives, intricate connections, and hidden conspiracies. But often, the most powerful stories are the quietest ones. The private battles, the moments of resilience, and the enduring love that shields them. It is a testament to their strength, and to the unwavering devotion of their loved ones, that these intimate struggles remained for a time just that, intimate. We live in an age where information and misinformation travels at the speed of light. It's a powerful reminder to seek truth, to respect privacy, and to remember that behind every public persona is a human being with a complex, rich, and often challenging life. Take care of yourselves and hold your loved ones close. Memory is the only thing that truly lasts forever.